create a life you love living now. And that doesn't necessarily mean that you have to love every single area of your life, but how could you love your life a little bit more? What action could you take? And for me, the positive intelligence coaching program that I participated in and that now I coach, that has been my foundation for creating a life I love living. It's been really helpful to understand and to recognize the thoughts and the saboteurs in my mind that can hold me back. I have that hyperachiever saboteur, just achieve, and once you achieve this, you'll be happy. I achieve it. What about this? Then you'll be happy. Then you'll be happy. And I never really used to stop and celebrate. Welcome to Onward Live, a live stream focused on encouraging you to create a life you love living now. Let's go beyond success to significance. Being clear on our why is crucial. It requires doing the inner work, finding ourselves, getting to know ourselves, embracing our inner child, shedding social conditioning, and letting go of perfect. We know obstacles make us stronger. We can dream big and take action. Believe you can, and you're halfway there. I invite you to tune in every week and engage with me and my inspiring guests. Invite your friends. Let's make time for what matters most in our lives. Let's move onward together. Hello. So this is my last Onward podcast. Hi, Tim. Thank you for tuning in. I really appreciate you. And for those of you who are watching, let me know that you're watching. For those of you who are listening later, I appreciate all of you. I really do. Oh, Jenny says, hi, Jenny. I'm so excited to hear about your why for the future. Yeah, me too, Jenny. I'm excited to hear it too. I don't have everything all planned out. I just know that after about 3.5 years of podcasting and some of it live streaming, I'm just ready to move on to something else. Don't know exactly what that is. I'm bringing up some time just to be. Do I have to have something to replace this? No. I think I just want to allow and to see what comes up for what I want to do next. So I was going to prepare a whole thing that I was going to read, but life happened and something that I'm working on came up and there's a big deadline. So I didn't get to do that, but I wrote a couple of some notes down that I wanted to just go over, just to encourage. Hopefully they're encouraging. It's just some reflections on what it's been like. So I decided before I retired from working for the Navy that I wanted to host a podcast. I didn't know what it would be on. I thought it would be on like maybe interviewing small businesses on how they were successful in government contracting. And that kind of made me go, I don't really feel like doing that. So then I thought I would do it on facing adversity, moving forward, and came up with the name, the Onward Podcast and stuff like that. But I guess what I want to point out is if you come up with a vision of something that you want to do, and you're not really sure exactly all the steps that it will take to get there or exactly how you're going to do it, just start. Be vision driven, not circumstance driven or held back by your circumstances. I could have easily said, I want to do a podcast, but I don't know how. I don't even know where to start. I don't know how to do the graphics. I don't know what I would talk about. No, I just said, that was my goal, my vision. I have a vision. I'm going to do a podcast. Do I know every single step to get from here to there? No, but I'm going to start. So many times we don't start, or we say, I don't know how to do everything. I don't know what I would do. I guess one of the things I wanted to say tonight is lead with a vision, a bold vision, and just start. And when you start and you have faith in your vision and you just keep moving forward, the people that can help you show up, the ways of doing things it all comes together. And so that is something that I wanted to say. I had no idea how to podcast, and I didn't even know what I didn't know, but I just started. So what is it in your life that you're thinking about doing, but you're letting circumstances hold you back. The timing's not right, or this isn't right, or that's not right. Just do it. Just start. Just move forward. The other thing I wanted to share is just, I didn't really realize how life could be, in more ease and flow. I didn't realize that I was addicted to busyness. When I think back on my most popular episode, which is with my son, it's called A Mother and Son's Discussion on Addiction and Recovery. And when I was interviewing Will, it was before I retired, and we were talking about his drinking, his alcoholism, what it was like. It was my point of view and his point of view. And at the time, I can tell you, I did not realize that my addiction was staying busy to avoid my feelings, just being busy. I would think, poor Will, he's drowning his feelings in alcohol, but I was drowning my feelings in busyness. And I still have that reaction sometimes to things. So like yesterday, something came up, a big project that I decided to take on for a company that I support, and I didn't know how to do everything, and it was going to rely on other people, and I just got nervous about it. My inner critic, my judge, said, oh, this is going to be too hard. And so I started getting really busy with other things. And so I realized that I distract myself by being busy. So awareness is just so key, knowing what our typical reaction is to something and knowing that we can change it. So that's something I wanted to share about something I've learned. If I go back and listen to that, one of the first episodes with my son, I can see how far I've come in my awareness of myself, which is one of the reasons I retired, because I wanted to work on myself. I didn't even really realize that our thoughts create our feelings, which create our action, which generates our action or our inaction, and gives us our results. So we want to know what we're thinking. We need to look at some of what's going on in our lives today, and that gives us a good idea of how we're thinking. And if we want things to change in our lives, one of the things to look at is, how can we change some of our thoughts? Where are we spending a lot of our time? Where are we placing our attention in terms of our thoughts? Those are a couple of things that I wanted to share. And then when I started this show, I didn't know exactly what I wanted to talk about. I knew I wanted to talk about facing adversity, moving forward. And then I changed the theme to facing adversity, moving forward, and discovering ourselves along the way. Because we learn so much about ourselves when we face adversity. And then this past season, it's been all about create a life you love living now. And that doesn't necessarily mean that you have to love every single area of your life, but how could you love your life a little bit more? What action could you take? And for me, the Positive Intelligence Coaching Program that I participated in and that now I coach, that has been my foundation for creating a life I love living. It's been really helpful to understand and to recognize the thoughts and the saboteurs in my mind that can hold me back. I have that hyperachiever saboteur, just achieve, and once you achieve this, you'll be happy. I achieve it. What about this? Then you'll be happy. Then you'll be happy. And I never really used to stop and celebrate. So I see Tim celebrating a lot. Tim Sowen, he's here, and he's got a 1-year anniversary for his podcast on his live stream on cancer coming up, and he's broadcasting live this Saturday. So follow Tim on LinkedIn and check that out. So Tim, I like the way you celebrate, and that's something that I think that we all could do a little more of. So I really don't have much else that I wanted to say. I already knew this was going to be a really short show. I just wanted to say how grateful I am for all my guests. And look at this graphic that my virtual assistant put together. These are all the guests that have appeared on the last season of my show. I can look at every single one and remember the episode and remember our conversation. And when I look at these faces, I'm just so grateful. This isn't all of my guests, but it's a lot of the ones that I've had in the past, all of the ones I've had in the past year. And there's Bill. Bill, I see you in the audience, and I see your picture up there. So thank you to all of my guests. And thank you, Tim. You appreciate me. Yes, thank you. Thank you to all of my guests, because there couldn't be a show without guests. And the other person that I want to thank, somebody else that I want to thank here, two people, is one, my virtual assistant, and I'll put his link in the show notes too. Habib has helped me so much. Every time when I get ready to come on the show, the graphics are done. I don't even look to see if the graphics are done. I just come into Restream here and I pull up the graphics and they're there and they're right every time. And I just appreciate Habib so much. He does a lot for me. And then I also get these short video clips that you've seen from my episodes, and also get the audio edited just a little bit and distributed on podcast channels. And Rudy, I call him Rudy, but his name is Akash. I think that's how you pronounce it, but that's his LinkedIn. He is over in India, but he and his team have helped me out tremendously. So you can't put a show on this by yourself. For one, you need guests. And number two, you need the equipment, and Gabe Leal has helped me a lot with that, and Tim Sowen also has helped me with tips on how to do live streaming. So that's the other thing. When you have your vision and you're vision driven and you set a goal for yourself of a vision, and you don't worry about the circumstances, that people will show up. And whenever I've needed help, people in this audience, Tim, Jenny's always calling me and leaving me encouraging messages. So I appreciate you, Jenny, and it was great to see you when I went out to Denver to visit my daughter. Thank you, Bill. I appreciate that and so much. So what's next? People ask me, and I really don't know what's next. I'm contemplating writing a book, but I don't feel like it right now. I'm not going to push myself to do something. I'm really focused. I'm actually in a positive intelligence mastery coaching program for the next 6 months, where we're going deeper and just embodying positive intelligence. My focus there is to just be in Sage more. If you've done positive intelligence, just be like more empathetic, more in ease and flow, and especially around my physical fitness. So right now I've got an issue with my hip. One of my hips is really hurting me, and I've also got a trip to hike Machu Picchu in June, and I want to be able to hike Machu Picchu, and it's a 5-day hike backpacking, and right now I could not do that. So I want to be in ease and flow with respect to my exercise though, and not push myself too much. I've done that in the past where I was on a bike ride, 75-mile bike ride, and my Achilles were hurting, but I didn't want to stop because Emily doesn't quit. My judge in my mind's, you can't quit. I push myself, and guess what? I tore both of my Achilles tendons partially, and I can only be in one boot, and one of them still bothers me. So what I'm focused on too is exercising, but not from just pushing myself and forcing myself. It's getting in shape, but in ease and flow. So I've been doing a lot more Pilates, yoga, and stretching and swimming. I swam a mile the other night. So I've been doing some of that too. So I can't tell who the Facebook user is, but you said I've learned so much from you and your guest, Emily. Thank you. Thank you very much. I've learned a ton. I've learned so much from every single guest. I can go down all the episodes. When you're the host and you interview all these people, you just really remember. I can remember different conversations, different pieces of the conversation, and those are some things that I know would be helpful to include in a book. Who wrote this? Emily, thank you. You encouraged me to set goals and reach higher. I've reached higher and got promoted. Realized that my circle is only partially encouraging. Love that you are real and sharing. I am real. Thank you. I'll be able to climb that mountain. You're right. And I am real. I don't do everything perfectly. Like in this positive intelligence mastery group today, they led us through this long, in my mind, kind of meditation thing. And during it, so I have a restless saboteur, meaning I have a hard time. It's probably, I don't know that it's ADHD or anything, but I distract myself when I get stressed or bored. And so we're supposed to be doing this meditation, and we had our screens off, and I admitted to the group that during it, I went and got an apple and some cheese and was eating it, and I wasn't doing the meditation. That's my saboteur, and I'm admitting it. So I'm not perfect. I'm doing my best to apply all this stuff, but so I think a guy named Michael Lejeune wrote a review for me on LinkedIn, and it said, Emily, he said something about how I don't just walk the talk, I walk the walk. And I do from time to time, but I also share where I have some challenges too. So thank you, Em. I'll miss your podcast, and I think you're perfectly imperfect. Yeah, I am. Yeah, too funny. I did share it. I shared, with the group. I was like, how was that meditation for you? I said, my restless saboteur said, this is boring, and I got up and ate an apple and some cheese. So I've got to work on that a little bit. You can totally relate to the restless. Yeah, hi, Gina. Yeah. So, yeah, but we can always, from the sage perspective, from calm, clear-headed action, empathy for ourselves. That's something I'm working on too, is empathy for myself. I can show a lot of empathy for other people, but not always myself. So if you have any questions for me, let me know. I would love to play, for those of you watching, I don't know, I just love the song that Dan wrote, and just look at the words as we go through. I'm going to play a little video, and it'll show you the song that I use for this podcast. It's called Quantum Leap, and a guy named Dan Johnson wrote it and sings it, and he was in like a coaching group that I was in a few years ago, and I'm grateful for him to letting me use this song. So I want to play it because I just love this song. It means a lot to me.
Changes spanning generations, or a shift in the wind, a body dormant underground. His world is ripe and absolutely earthbound, till his wings come in. You are life in motion, an ever-changing sky, ending and beginning at the same time. You are transformation, always underway. The quantum leap from yesterday. Quantum our little men and women fly away, it seems, all in the wink of an eye. We readjust at every stage, while young ones face the questions of their own age, both reckless and wise. You are life in motion, an ever-changing sky, ending and beginning at the same time. You are transformation, always underway. Quantum leap from yesterday. Quantum leap. Not the enemy, but only a disguise for opportunity. Will you still fight it? And when good fortune comes your way, will Will you rejoice or mourn that she might leave one day? Only you decided. You are life in motion, a never-changing sky, ending and beginning at the same time. You are transformation, always underway from yesterday. A quantum leap from
So thank you for listening to that. I just love the words to that song. And you, somebody who's going to be really happy that I'm not podcasting anymore is this one, Pearl. She's every Wednesday night. She's pay attention to me. So thank you, Shannon, for coming. Thank you, Jenny. I love you too. And someone posted, so freeing to just be focused on you and being, you've touched so many lives. Thank you. Yeah, I'm looking forward to a few travels too. I just booked my flight to Hawaii. I'm going to Hawaii with my roommates from college. You got to make time for what you love, right? You just got to do it. And when we turned 40, we went to Mexico. When we turned 50, we went to Costa Rica, and now we're going to Hawaii. And I feel guilty because I'm leaving Pearl for a few weeks. But yeah, the words are so impactful from that song. I really agree. And hi, Alice. Thank you for joining. So I'll just share a couple. So I'm looking forward to some travel too. So make time for what's important in your lives. That's what I say in this show too. We can say, oh, I don't have time. But one of the things one of my coaches, Shirzad Shamin, says for people who don't say they don't have time to do positive intelligence, I don't have time to do a coaching program. And he says, you know what? Race car drivers, NASCAR race car drivers, in the race of their lives, racing around the track, they stop. They come to a full stop and they get their tires changed or get some maintenance done, stuff like that. So they come to a full stop. So we need to be able to come to a full stop in our lives at some points and focus on ourselves, even if it's just for an evening or for a weekend or taking some time at the end of the calendar year, which is coming up, to reflect. What happened with me this year? Am I in the same position that I was last year, wanting to change and haven't made a change in my life? Am I being condition driven? Like not making the changes because this happened and that happened? Or am I being vision driven? I got a vision and I'm going for it. I'm going to do what I can with what I have today to keep moving forward. And I'll tell you, thank you, Gabe. I'll tell you that, what has helped me a lot with that is coaches. I've worked a lot with coaches. So I'm not saying hire me as a coach. Find a coach if you think that it will help you. It definitely does. Accountability helps. It's helped me. And that's something, when I started this podcast and doing this podcast, it cost me, it takes an investment of time and money. And I didn't want to get a sponsor. I didn't want to stop in the middle and say, and this is sponsored by and advertise another company or whatever. I just wanted to keep on going with my guest. And when you start your own business, you're not making money right away. They say it takes 3 years, and it's been 3 years for me. And now, things are happening. So now I also want to have a little bit more time for clients as well as for myself. I'm getting more and more clients, and so that's good. That's good news. Enjoy your time traveling. Thanks, Gabe. New adventures, new experiences. Yep. And I'll come live from time to time because I've got this Restream program on my computer, and there might be times when I just feel like sharing something, and it'll go to my YouTube channel. So Alice, you didn't watch all the podcasts. You're inspired by the ones. Good for you. I'm glad. So I just want to share a couple links. I've contributed to chapters of 2 books. And so you can go to my website, emilyharman.com, and you can get 2 books. One is called Step Into the Spotlight. It's all about, I think, being vision driven and what it takes to put yourself out there, which can be scary sometimes. And the other one is being a government contracting expert. I wrote a couple of chapters in there, but it's interesting. I wrote 3 chapters, and one of them was on understanding yourself before you get into government contracting. And another one was talking about my podcast. So it's interesting how I tied this podcast to government contracting. If you want to listen to the shows or watch them, you can go to my YouTube channel, or you can go to my website, emilyharman.com/Onward Podcast. And I will be doing some more blogging and tying those blogs back to maybe a few podcast episodes that you might find interesting that go deeper into that topic. And you hear me talking a lot about positive intelligence. Just if you want to learn a little bit something about yourself, recommend going to their website. You don't even have to go to this one, assessment, positive intelligence. You can just go to positiveintelligence.com and you'll see on their website the saboteur assessment. Just take it, learn what your saboteurs are, learn a little bit about it, and start observing a little bit more how they're impacting your performance, your relationships, and your well-being. They don't ever all go away, but you can certainly diminish their impact. So connect with me on LinkedIn if you haven't already. I'm posting there as well. And then I also lead a group called the Onward Movement. It's a Facebook group. Or if you don't want to be on Facebook or not in that group, you can go to my website and subscribe to my newsletter, and that'll tell you what's going on too. And you can learn more about my coaching programs here. I'm an International Coaching Federation ICF certified professional coach. I coach in the area of positive intelligence and also energy leadership. So all about our energy, and positive intelligence and energy leadership are complementary. So I love coaching in both of those areas. I love to coach. I love to help people. Thank you. I'll have to go on LinkedIn and say who wrote that. Your clients are so fortunate to have you as their coach. I really love coaching. It's so enjoyable. And all of the guests on my show and everything that I've been through helped me to be a better coach. So I'm always working on that, always working to be better, but working from ease and flow, not pushing myself. So thank you all for listening, for watching. I appreciate you. I want to put up this graphic of, this isn't all my guests, but these are the ones that have been on the show in the past year, I think. And I love seeing all those faces. So I'll miss you guys, but we'll be in touch in other ways. So thank you very much. And I'm signing off. I'm going to go snuggle with my doggy Pearl. All right? Talk to you guys later. Bye. Onward Live is sponsored by Emily Harman Coaching and Consulting. Visit my website, emilyharman.com, to learn more about me and my coaching programs. I'd love to help you create a life you love living. Remember, every adversity is our own personal university. Sometimes the lessons are difficult, and we must learn from our experiences. Vulnerability is your superpower. You are lovable and worthy. And we discuss these topics and more because professional is personal. Thank you for joining us and engaging with me and my guest. I look forward to seeing you next time.